Good morning. Welcome to my sitting room. First of all, shout out to Sam. Sam has pointed out that the clock is wrong. That's because it's not working at the moment. So thank you, Sam, for that helpful point out. Anyway, let's get down to business. I one time thought about getting a tattoo, and I was going to get the tattoo written, "It is finished." Why? Well, because Jesus says that from the cross. At the end of his life, on the cross, he shouts, "It is finished." It's a cry of victory. Jesus has completed his mission. That means that on the cross, every sin of his people is dealt with. It means that I don't have to try to make up for my guilt. I don't need other people to pray for me. I don't need that. I don't need to prove myself through good works. Every guilty thing in me is done. I used to think of that "it is finished" only in terms of his taking the punishment of the cross, which is certainly his primary reference, but I wonder also if "it is finished" also includes the whole of his ministry. All the prophecies about his earthly ministry and his death on the cross, he says, "It's finished. I've done them all." His goodness, his life of obedience, I have done them all. Because after all, we're not just saved or rescued by God because he died for our guilt, but also because he lived the perfect life of obedience. We're treated as forgiven because our guilt is taken away, and we are treated as if we'd always obeyed like Jesus obeyed perfectly. And he brought that right to the end, and then he says, "It is finished." And then he gives up his life to God and dies. Now, the implication of that is that my good works don't bring me into God's righteousness. It's all a gift. Jesus has done it all. I don't need people to pray for me that God would accept me. I don't need anything like that. And then you'd say, well, what's the point then of good works? Well, good works show that it's real for you. Now, I know that I'm not as good as I ought to be, but the Holy Spirit is changing me from the inside out. When you become a Christian, you receive the Holy Spirit. When you become a Christian, you encounter a love like you've never experienced before. Oh, I sometimes struggle to feel it, but it's true when you look at the cross, and it changes you. And so the good works, the things that we do, don't contribute to us being put right with God, but they show that we are put right with God. And what about the fact that my good works are always imperfect? Well, I love what John Newton, the hymn writer, said. He said something like this: "I am not what I ought to be. I am not what I will be when I meet Jesus. I'm not what I want to be. But by the grace of God, I'm different than I used to be." May that be true for each of us. God bless you. It is finished.